Good morning, everyone. Just checking that you can hear me okay.
Yes, we can hear you. Okay.
Okay.
We can hear you. Yeah.
Great. Okay. So, am I all ready to go?
Yes, sure. Please.
Yeah. All right. Bye. I've just turned my video off just to keep an eye on bandwidth, Shams. Is that okay?
Yeah. Let me introduce you again for half a minute. Russel Bee is the head of the development team of IBM Maximo HSE Solution. So, which is the primary focus of our session today. So he is the developer, and he would do a presentation as well as show the live application also. Russell, you can start.
Thank you, Shams. So hello, everyone, and thank you for inviting me today. So my presentation is on the IBM HSE capability, and I'm going to briefly talk about HSE processes and the theme of integrated HSE and work management. And I'm then going to give you some more capability details. And I'm going to give some example KPIs, and then I'm going to conclude with a demo. So from a process viewpoint, a key theme of our work in health and safety is the ability to integrate HSE operational and work management processes. Being able to bridge across organizational silos between work management and safety. And often traditionally we find that the applications that support HSE capability are siloed, and that can inhibit good communication between across teams. So this slide gives an example of the typical HSE processes that we support. And this is a process view rather than an application view, but it closely maps to the applications that our product supports. And you can see here that we have a series of major business processes, and they move from operations management through control of work, through asset and work management to HSE management, to compliance, across through management to change to knowledge management. So this capability supports processes for both all aspects of HSE. So it covers process safety, occupational health and safety, environmental management, and also to an extent on the compliance side, quality management use cases as well. So if we just briefly start on the left-hand side, and I'll go through and give you an overview of these processes and how they work together. So on the left-hand side, you have operations management. And these are the operational processes like operator logs, shift handover, operator rounds that are transactional processes that are complementary to your real-time systems that are managing your operations in real time. So this is the that transactional element of the of operations. Very important one being the operator log capability, and the capability that supports that around shift handover and operator rounds, the ability to manage operator tasks. So often there are a number of maintenance tasks that are allocated to operations personnel to implement. Being able to manage operational actions that are supports the integrated processes, being able to define operating policies, procedures, and also for some customers, production loss reporting as well. If we move left, then we have the control of work capability, which sort of crosses the boundaries between operations and health and safety. So here we have processes that support risk management, permit to work. So three different sort of forms of permit to work. The traditional full permit to work process, isolation management, linked into permit to work, and then a simpler form of permit called access permits. Often some forms of permit where you're performing less invasive work, it's an inspection, or maybe it's a permit for someone to visit sites. We don't need the full permit to work process, so we support a simplified process. Supporting permit to work, you have the management of the locks and the lock boxes and lock management, and the hazard management, so managing hazards and precautions that support the risk management process, and then also bypass management. So bypass management is the process of managing bypasses that are often managed by operations, but are necessary to carry out maintenance work. So, for example, if you're doing some welding work near the fire and gas protection system, then you need to be able to bypass the operation of the temporarily that system while you complete your maintenance work. We then have in the middle here, in the middle process, assets and work management. So this is really the theme of my presentation, that if you can, is supporting an integrated process where you're connecting your asset and work management processes where required with the HSE and operations. So we support the set of asset and traditional assets and work management processes around managing your assets, defects, work management. The traditional capability that would be provided by enterprise asset management system, managing failures as well, and turnarounds, construction and commissioning management. So, so for example, this integration then gives you the ability, if say you have an incident while you're carrying out work, someone has a minor injury while they're performing some maintenance work, you can create the incident directly from the maintenance work order and go straight into the incident management process, and you have that linkage for further investigation between the source record of where the event happened. And so then if we keep moving right into the HSE management process flow, you have a traditional incident management process. From an IBM perspective, we split incidents and investigation management into separate applications. So you can create an incident, and if it needs further investigation and analysis, you do that in a separate linked application. This allows you the capability to investigate multiple different forms of incidents. So you could have a reliability incident, you could have an environmental incident, you could have a safety-related incident, and they can all be investigated through the investigations capability. And you can go straight from the work management system into investigation, for example, if you needed to, if it was a defect that you were following up on. We have a full corrective action process. So having investigated your incident, what corrective action is required? It might be future preventive action as well. So action tracking, continuous improvement, management of change, and then also within that HSE process, we have the certification, regulatory compliance, regulatory permits, and here we also we have a mobile incident reporting capability as well. If we then keep moving right to compliance, we have the regulatory compliance application. So really important to be able to link the regulations, and this is the way that you would if you're in a performance standard regime, you would model your performance standards and identify those against your asset structures, and then be able to link them into your HSE and operational processes. So the regulatory compliance application, managing non-conformances, audit management, any type of audit can be supported, and the findings that you associated with an audit can be identified and linked into corrective action. Resource management, so and then training and competency management. So as you start to have an integrated system between safety operations and work management, the competency management becomes increasingly important. So is someone authorized to do the to be able to issue a permit? Do they have the necessary training and competency to be able to perform that role? We also support certification process linked with supply chain quality and the identification of safety critical items and management of hazardous materials. An important process, particularly from a process safety perspective, is management of change, and this is a really good example of a process that is often very tightly integrated with other systems. So managing any type of change, so those could be documentation changes, they might be system changes, they might be personnel changes, they could be process changes, any type of change. And that module includes both management, the change requesting capability, and a full management of change application, and also a continuous improvement application. So a change could start with an improvement and link into the full management of change process. The common thread through all these processes is being able to capture knowledge and capture knowledge at the point of execution of these processes, be able to identify solutions from captured knowledge, and to be able to manage checklists, which are a very common form of sharing organizational knowledge. So that's a picture of an integrated system bringing operations, HSE, and work management together. And if we just look at a little bit further as we step through this process, here's some examples of how those various linkages work. From an IBM perspective, we don't force all these connections in those processes, and you're not required to use every part of this capability, but it provides you the option to connect together the pieces of the HSE process that you want to link with, you want to support within our products, and also the linkages you want to make with other applications. So as we build up this slide, you'll see that there's much potential for integrating in a number of different ways across these applications that I've covered, and this is the way a typical integrated process is that one of our customers would look. So when I talk about this integrated process, this is a visualization of those connections. So what are the benefits of doing this? Well, I talked as we started the presentation about the ability to cross organizational silos and connect people, and the at the heart of it is that capability to have connected processes and to cross these bridges which can sometimes exist in an organization, and this has been shown to lead to improved safety management overall. If you're able to do it in one system, significant reductions in the level of configuration and time to implement, and very importantly, this improved organizational collaboration and learning. There's a if we take ourselves back to the American space program and the space shuttle, and we think of those two accidents that happened to the shuttles, Challenger and Columbia, then there's a lot of work done in this area and about how those accidents happened. And one of the major findings was that the NASA systems were very siloed, and the people were operating in organizational silos. And the interesting studies around the space shuttle and you think about the work of Diane Vaughan was one of the important people working academically in that area, and showed how the NASA learned and then actually unlearned lessons from the first Challenger incident that then repeated themselves in Columbia. So it's very hard to, as we all know, to implement change and ensure that change stays in place. And the evidence at NASA was that they did learn some lessons, but then learned them, and their processes didn't reinforce that change because they were not sufficiently integrated. So just to go through in a little bit more detail, some of the capability I've just described and how it would look in a little more detail. So here's operations, and I won't go through the detail of every one of these. Shams will make the slides available to you, but it just gives a little bit more detail, supporting detail about the operations capability that we support, that I covered in the overview. Our operator log capability provides both a logbook, which is the book of logs to put all your logs together, as well as the operator log. So our operator log is a specific shift log, but then the log brings them all together. And we use the inspection capability for operator rounds. We have a mobile inspection capability that is also designed to support operator rounds. So they're integrated with the operator log. I mentioned loss reporting, and this can be loss reporting associated directly with production operations, or it could be maintenance related. You could actually link into if you have a maintenance event that requires downtime, you can identify that, and you can link it into lost downtime due to maintenance as well. So it's going to help you find your bad actors in your asset structures that potentially are impacting your operations and safety. I mentioned bypass management, and I gave the example of a fire and gas system. So there's multiple systems like that require bypasses. Emergency shutdown systems, alarms, soft alarms on some of our customers also manage as bypasses, and there could be the mechanical systems as well, such as your sprinkler systems, and and also we've seen some customers use those for bypasses of temporary bypasses of security systems as well. So it's interesting with bypass management because that's one of the sort of the last processes you tend to see built into a system. It's often you'll go into a control room and you'll see a whiteboard and you'll see bypasses on the whiteboard. They're in just up on a board, and so this provides you the ability to track them. I mean, one of the important things about a bypass is that you you make sure that you have the temporary operational procedures in place while that and have assessed the risk of doing that bypass, and then but particularly that you restore the bypass when the work that requires the bypass is finished, and that's been an area in the past which has been linked to a number of process safety related incidents. Operational actions. So I mentioned the checklists earlier. These operational actions are linked into checklists. So these are complementary to your action tracking system, and that this allows you to bring together the multiple checklists that are supported in the in our products in a single place. So if you have multiple actions assigned to you, you can see them all together, see them on your start center. And then the ability to manage operating policy and operating procedures that also come within the operations capability. Control of work. So I mentioned risk assessment. Supporting the risk assessment capability is a risk matrix. So you can embed your organizational risk matrix into the system. And we support the classic consequence, probability, and severity form of risk matrix, and it's a completely configurable matrix in our product that allows you to support your company.
Russel, can I disturb you a bit? People here want to see the live application, and as I told you, we've lost already quite a bit of time because of some city disturbances. So if you can quickly jump to the live application, not immediately, yeah, but you conclude whatever you are saying, and then probably you can show us the live application.
Sure, Shams. Yes, yeah. So as I sort of go through here, I was this just provide you with more detail on the overview I gave. So we were there on a control of work capability. I've covered the risk matrix. You can also do checklist-based risk matrices, control of work capability, and here is the in more detail assets and work management, and then the safety capability and compliance. So you can reference back this if you'd like to see more detail about the capability that I've covered, and completing the process with management of change and knowledge management. So just quickly, I'll on the system I'm going to show you online, I don't have all the reporting working or start center. So these are some of the examples of the typical output you can get from the system. So we talked about management of change. So one of the high risk areas around management of change are temporary changes that are not go past that temporary date. There are many examples of that. We'll see where you're exposed to more risk from a process safety perspective because temporary changes remain in place longer than they should do. Active permits by location, so you can start to see how many active permits you can have. So is there a risk area that you've got one location that has a very high number of permits and others that don't? And so you can sort of even out your permit load using this sort of KPI. And here's another MOC related one. So tracking of the of MOCs that don't have a risk assessment. And here's an example of a report supported by the system. So the standard report that we support here we refer to as OSHA style. It's very similar to the OSHA format that is widely used by customers. That's the US Occupational Health and Safety Organization, and this is a standard report we provide that will report in that format and can be adapted for any sort of other format of injury and illness reporting that you need. So let's just now stop sharing for a minute and move to my Maximo system. So you just should see, Shams, if you can tell me when you see a Maximo login screen.
Yes, we can see the screen now. There is a bit of latency I can see, but you please continue.
Oh, okay. I'll just be take it steadily then.
Yeah. Okay.
So just in terms of, I know you're running a little bit late there. How long do you want me to take on the demo here?
10 to 12 minutes.
Okay, great. I'll just give this a little time just to get through the latency.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is the first time I've started this system up overnight. So, I'm in a. I've logged in a admin mode here. So this is a Maximo Start Center. So this is a what we refer to as our managed capability, and this is a start center. This is a role-based start center that can be configured to multiple different roles. So I've just logged in here in the role of an administrator. So I'm seeing sort of more administration style start center. But here you can set up your start center for your HSE role, for your operations role, for your work management roles. So you have a start center that's configurable to the role here that you
can you scroll down a bit because we cannot see the KPI.
There we are. So there you can see that there's in this case it's a maintenance related KPI that we have set up here under administration. So you would have the similar thing for your say, for example, incidents. So you could be looking at all the different types of incidents here and looking at the response time, for example, for an incident, and you could be comparing different types of incidents as well. So this is a capability that we provide that's completely configurable and set up by the customer to match their business processes. So I can navigate to multiple different applications here. So we just have a short amount of time. So I'll just give you I'm just going to go here and go to incidents, and I'm going to start with creating an incident. So
Russell, incident and investigation would be all.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm going to, yeah. So so here you can see that I've created a I can create my incident. So what happened? So let's say it's in this case it could be an injury. It's a minor injury. You can see here, I could also, if it was a safety observation, I could have actually entered the type of safety observation that I had there. I can summarize my incidents. I'm not going to enter all the data here. I'm just going to record that this is a test incident, and I can add in my incident details. So this is designed for people who are not regularly using Maximo and the products, and so it's a self-service application. I can put in the details. I'm automatically picking up when it was reported. I can actually type, go and identify multiple event types. So I might have a injury, but the injury was caused by a maybe it was a leak of some acid or some catalyst, and so I can have multiple different types of events if I want to. I can include attachments, and I can also identify where the event happened. I can link it to my assets and location structures if I want to. So I could, for example, here go into my my drill down and my asset structure, and identify that this happened in the boiler room. And I can indicate the names of who's involved. So very simple, and what action I might have taken. So I might have taken some temporary action to put a temporary solution in place, or I reported it to my supervisor. These are all completely configurable. So I can then submit that accident, that incident. And so it's actually telling me here that I've forgotten to do something. So you can see here that when I created the events, I need to identify a category for that event. So again, I just quickly put in minor here, minor there, and now I'll be able to complete my incident. So there we are. I've quickly created an incident. Now I can then go and start to find that incident, so I can that will be automatically entered into the incidents power application, where I can enter more details of that incident. But I can also start to investigate that incident as well. So I'm just quickly going to show you incident investigations. And well, I'm just quickly actually going to show power application. And I can find that test incident. No. I can't remember what I called that incident to find it quickly. Yeah, I thought I'd called it a test, but so here's my power incidents application, and then I can follow up and enter more details on the incident. You can see here there's a whole process that a HSE supervisor or manager would need to have more detail on the incident. And what I can do from that incident is, as I save it, I can then create an investigation. So we talked about the integrated process with the follow-up with investigations. Here I can create an investigation that's linked into my incidents, and then I can navigate to that investigation. And I then have the follow-up investigation process where it'll copy all the information over from the incidents, and then in more detail go into the start to allow you to follow up and investigate that incident. If you see my related records, it will show you that I was linked into that's the incident that I used to create this investigation record. I can then have additional set of processes, so I can do an after action review, so lessons learned review, or an after action review, a very quick review shortly after an incident happened. And then I can go into the analysis capability here. And without going into all the detail of this here in the time that we have, I can start to summarize the results of a root cause analysis, and then I have a number of different capabilities to analyze. I've got a 5 whys cause analysis. I've got a human factors analysis. There is a structured RCA, so that's more like a structured cause analysis technique. And I can also link an investigation and summarize the results of a failure mode effect and criticality analysis. So I'm conscious of time here. I've very quickly shown 3 aspects of the analysis of the incident process, from creating a self-service incident to the power incidents application to the incidents application itself, to the investigation of that incident. And what I then can do is just in closing from this investigation, I can start to create the corrective action that is required. So I can enter and a change and link it. So it's telling me here again I have to enter some data. So because it's a management of change requires you to identify the site, I need to put in the site on this incident or this investigation. But I can create I won't do that now in the interest of time, but you can see here there are multiple ways that I can do the follow-up corrective action, from investigations, further investigation, to change requests, to improvements, to actions. I can also link this into a maintenance work order if I wanted to as well. So Shams, keeping my eye on time, I think that probably takes us to the end of the demo. Is there anything else?
That is correct. Thank you so much, Russell. And we do have some users over here. So after your presentation, we'll share their experiences also on the same product.
Great. Thank you so much. I'd welcome any feedback, Shams. Always interested.
Yeah, sure. So we have a feedback form also for each participant, so we'll share that with you.
I'd be really interested to see that feedback. I look forward to that. And have a good rest of the day and enjoy your seminar.
Bye. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.